All right, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, we got a great interview in store for you right here, right now, live in full effect. We got Michigan's own, we got Project Born on the line. How are you guys doing this evening?
All right, man. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. I hope everything's all well with you guys over there out in Michigan, man. What's going on? The elections going on and whatnot, the pandemic.
Yeah. We holding up all right.
But I gotta ask you guys, taking you guys way back to when things are probably much more simpler in everybody's lives. But I have to ask you, like, what made you guys decide to get into the music industry?
I don't know, man. It just happened on a humbug. You know what I'm saying? A while back ago, I wasn't even thinking about doing no rapping. It was my uncle who was rapping, and it kind of started from just playing around, rapping with him. And, he would, and I would be around him a lot. So he was just always, rapping, writing. And then I just picked it up, from that. Just being around it, man. Being around the music, he used to, have his turntables and all that, man, playing all the, the rock hymns and LL and all that, got us in, Yeah, because I wasn't even thinking about rap, doing no music. Like, I wanted to be a lawyer, and I just ended up rapping, like, just out of the blue. Like, it was just crazy how it happened because me and my boy Pine, we just walk around with a notepad. And then he seen me my pad, I seen him here, and then we just like, let's be a group. And then we ended up, taking the name Project Born out of my uncle. He was getting cut in the back of his head, like, from the barber was cutting in his head, cutting the letters, Project Born in his head. We was like, Project Born. And we took that from the back of his head and made it our group name, and, the rest is history.
And one thing I gotta ask you, Nitty, before we move off on that topic, heard you say something about you want to be a lawyer. You wanted to be a lawyer. Do you think, like, even after all these years, you still kind of think about maybe going to law school or something like that, kind of doing something as a side gig away from music?
Yeah, I sure want to. I mean, that's my dream spot. Like going getting a bachelor's and going to law school. That would be like a dream thing for me, you know what I'm saying? I mean, rap has been good, you know what I'm saying? Rap has been good. I won't front, but my dream is to be a lawyer. I would give up rap tomorrow if I could be a lawyer. And wouldn't regret it not one second. I'll be honest with you.
And also, back in the late 80s, around 1989 criteria, Project Born was formed. I have to ask you, can you tell us the story behind the group? Like, how did you guys meet how did you guys meet each other and whatnot? And of course, what's the story behind behind Michigan's amazing group?
Yeah, me and Nitty, me and this Polk right here, me and Nitty, we brothers, you know what I'm saying? Blood brothers or whatever. And like Pike, we been around Pike, since we was small, real, so over 30-some years. So it's a family thing. We grew up in the same neighborhood. With projects down Flint, Michigan, River Park Apartments down Coppin Road. We all grew up out there together, and that's really how we came. How we came about. Me and Pink we started rapping first, and we put out the Born Dead, and then we added Polk to the group right after Born Dead.
And also, in 1994, you guys were also signed to Psychopathic Records. I have to ask you, can you tell us the story behind that record deal? And of course, what was it like being signed to Psychopathic?
Back then, you know what I'm saying, because it wasn't as big as they are now. So it was like, when we first got started, like, we actually, so I gotta take it back to when we first met Jay now. We had, Jay and Shad came down here, and we was doing a show down here in Flint with Esham and ICP. And, at the time, Esham was the guy, was the man, like, around. And Esham was the man, and he brought ICP down, and, we always doing the show. And we did a show when we had met ICP, and then, they liked our stuff. And what happened was they show, which was probably like, I'll say about 4 or 5 months away at that time. And then after that, after a while, because I believe, like, originally that we wanted to go with real life originally. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was, but it kind of kept pushing us back, some, you know what I'm saying? Kept, I guess procrastinating, you say, but, we were so leaning like that way, like, we was fucking with he was busy. He was doing his thing. So, I don't know how I feel about that, but then, Psychopathic jumped in, like, okay, that's, and they, wanted to work out a deal. We worked out a deal. And they would always come down, scoop us up, take us up to Detroit to the studio. They'd drop us off at Mike Clark's spot. And we'd be in there with Mike Clark, making magic. And that's kind of how we got to, meet them, in the first place, and then, how we became cool. And it was just like, with Jay and them, they would just always come right down, straight down. We live in the projects, like, and they would always drive down to the projects, sit right on the couch. We talk, you know what I'm saying? Jay would call me out every day, like, you know what I'm saying? I was living in my mom's basement at the time, like, you know what I'm saying? You had the little team phones and stuff like that. So, I had a little phone, and, he would call every day, like, every morning. We would chat it up, you know what I'm saying? About something, about business, this and that. And then, we signed, and, then Born Dead dropped, and that was a game changer, for our career. Like, that was the game changer, because I didn't know how big Psychopathic Records or even ICP was, because even at the time I had never heard of it. You know what I'm saying? I had never heard of it. It was early in the game, with them, like everybody else. Like, we were just coming out. He had been out, and then, ICP, we had a lot of people down. Flint was coming out. MC Breed and Dayton Family was coming on the horizon at the time. Top Authority, and then, here we came. So when we got with them, and it was like, we've been like family ever since. Like, we had a little scuffles, we had a little, whatever disagreements, whatever. But there's been nothing but, family for the majority of our time. And, at that time, it was like really good. We used to do in stores and all that stuff together. Like, that was just life. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was the best, like, part of doing music. And that kind of thing sold me on music.
And it must have been extraordinary as well, because you were saying that you were living in your mom's basement and whatnot, man. Going from living in your mom's basement to the very next day getting a signed record deal with Psychopathic Record must have had your life flipped upside down, but in a positive manner.
Yeah, you know what? It was crazy, because look, I think it was like a week or two after Born Dead came out. I go to the mall, and all these people run up on me like I'm looking like, what the? It's like, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not used to that. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you talk we used to, when we being from the project, we used to, go to the mall, and usually, a lot of times it'd be, fights out there and stuff like that. It was like, crazy like that. But me and my boy went to the mall this day specifically, and this got the Born Dead kind of went on the weekend, and people, like, a lot of the family, like, kind of rushed me, like, hey, like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there talking to a bunch of people at the bar, and at that point, I think that's when it kind of resonated to me, like, you might be on to something, you know what I'm saying? Because they're just like, we had got to lose in single, but we hadn't got to Born Dead yet, but that was a wake-up call in a way.
And also, 1 year later, after securing your guys' record deal with Psychopathic Records, you actually released the album Born Dead, which actually features appearances by Insane Clown Posse. I have to ask you, what was it like actually working on that record, and of course being in the studio with ICP?
Well, actually, what it was more or less, I think they had dropped theirs first, and then I think we got at Mike Clark. Cause like what would happen was everything was going, all the matter was being worked at Mike Clark. Like, they'd come and get us, drop us off at Mike Clark's house, and we'd be over there for hours. You know what I'm saying? Trying to put magic together. So what happened with the graveyard, actually, we ended up like, we didn't even have that record even put up there to go on the album like the first. And we knew, like, microphone. We're gonna do this track together, blah blah blah. Then they brought the track to us like, look, keep this, you know what I'm saying, and then let's do this and let it be what it be. So we kind of did that. They brought the record to us. They had it already recorded and everything, and they had these spots in there. Like, okay, and because it sounds like an ICP record, like, you know what I'm saying. But it was our record. But they kind of put the idea together for that record, like, and then brought it to us and see what we think. And I was like, it was just genius because the way all of it just plays out. And then our chemistry on it, it was just perfect. Right, but Mike Clark, he's the man that worked the magic.
And you guys have also made regular appearances, actually performing at the Gathering of the Gigolos. I have to ask you, what was those experiences like been for you? Because I heard like some of those gatherings are pretty damn wild.
Yeah, Gathering of the Gigolos. Yeah, Gathering of the Gigolos. It matters who's a bunch of gigolos at the spot. That would be crazy. But yeah, the Gathering of the Gigolos is great. Like, we could do, like, I remember when we did the first one, which was in 2000, I believe, and it was like we was in Novi, Michigan, and that was the first one, and it was just crazy. I think it was like 8,000 people there at that time, and it was a 2-day event, and it was just crazy, like, nothing we had seen before. So still remind you, like, it was like 8,000 right here in front of us. Like, we performed from the 8,000 right here. So that's like on the first one. But then, like, we have done, how many jobs we done, Chris?
We done like about 7, 8, 9, something like that.
Yeah. We done did
quite a few of them.
Yeah, and
if you never experienced the gathering, man, you need to, man, because like. Yeah. It's just a great experience, man. Just being with the family and just seeing all the acts, man.
Yeah, you should message them about what's the name passes. What is it, Chris? What they call it? The passes for for people that that do interviews and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, the press passes.
Yeah, press passes. You most definitely need to take in that experience. And getting press passes and stuff, and really go in there and see how it goes. Because, like, back in the day, I believe a few years ago, it was like when it was in Illinois, it was a lot more freer. Like, you could actually do anything. You hear me? Like, you can go, I'm talking about, it was like the free world, I call it. Because at that point, you could go and do anything. You had drugs, whatever. I'm talking about, it's all drugs. And it's like you can walk around with a sign that says, I'm selling drugs, blah, 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 whatever, and nothing would happen to you. You know what I'm saying? And then the thing that made, like, most of that stuff change was, like, when people start dying from ODing, and I think it was a few deaths that happened, deaths, and that changed, like, the way they gather now. Now you have all these police and this and that. Before, it wasn't, you had no police. There hardly was no fights and nothing. There was no fights and nothing, and now they got police there everywhere, like, so it's undercover there and all that, like, they kind of infiltrate the whole spot. But it's still one of the best shows to attend. Like, you have to go, like, and experience at least once.
And I have to say, though, like, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, though, it comes with the times, right? Like, when you said now, like, before you could sell drugs and no one really cared, now there's, like, undercover cops. I really feel that this day and age, man, like, you can't really have those, like, real hip-hop, like, concerts anymore, man. Like, you know what I mean? People shut shit down for smoking weed now, man. It's like, it's almost like 2020 is filled with pussies. Excuse my language, but it's true.
Yeah, but the thing that happened with that was, when the deaths started happening, that's what made it all. See, if they could have ducked all the deaths that would happen, it was like I think it was a 12-year-old, 13-year-old, young boy that I think OD'd and died, and I think that was the turning point right there at that point. You know what I'm saying? That it would have been cool if you could have stayed where a moment was drank, got high, whatever, and they do it with discretion, and people wouldn't die and fucking up. Like you really, like, go by the medical tent, and it's like a zombie world. You see people just laying there on the thing because they would have a medical tent sitting there. People would be so high, they'd be getting high for days.
You know what I'm saying? Up per day, they get high all the time, just constantly. They up 4 days, and then you see them on the negative 10, just look like zombies. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, and then, you know, so that kind of was brought on itself, you know, by the people not using kind of discretion to say, okay, you know, I'm fucked up enough. I need to chill for a minute. Because when bodies start dropping, you already know it's gonna be some change.
That is most definitely true. I agree with that 100%. And also, little Polk, this one's actually for you, man. Well, while I was doing my digging with this interview, I was on a site called Discogs, and I came across something about Flint City Limits Volume 1, where your track, What You About, was actually featured on that compilation, man. And I have to ask you, what was it like taking part in that compilation record back in 2002?
Oh, that was a good experience, man. My homeboy Donovan, man. Actually, I had that the track on there with featuring me and Buka or whatever. Had that What You About, and actually we had a track on there too. That was Project Born, I think. What was it called? I can't even remember the name. So long ago. But yeah, I can hear him. Yeah. That was a good experience, man. That was a good compilation, man. I ain't heard that in a while. Mm-hmm.
And also, I noticed as well that it was actually released on North Block Records. I have to ask you, were you guys signed to North Block Records, or did you just kind of just go in type as a feature type thing?
No, actually, the guy who was running North Block Records, Donovan, whatever, I knew him or whatever. I met him like a little while before that, and then he found out I did music and everything. Then we, just connected like that, and told me he's doing a compilation. So we just, got his own there.
Like, was there any other volumes of that, or was it just strictly a volume 1, and then he kind of just moved on with other projects?
Yeah, I think volume 1. I think that was the only one. I haven't heard no other part 2 or nothing like that. So I think so.
And also, you guys have done a lot of extensive work with Flint, Michigan's own Gaza. I have to ask you, how did you guys get connected with Gaza? And of course, man, what is it like actually working with him?
Yeah, we've been knowing Gaza for years, man. Since Alpha Dodgers, she came out actually around the same time, pretty much. Back in the '90s, and been the homie ever since, man. And that's what we recorded. Actually,
the first day we ever met him. What was the first day we ever met him? It was so long ago. I don't remember what actually was the first day that we met Gaza. I can't recollect it in my mind. How you have this. I met such and such in a certain spot. I don't remember the actual day. I just remember it being a long time ago. We have been cool for so long.
Right. Yeah, we actually recorded our last 3 CDs, like the Born Supremacy, Born Dead 3, and this new one at his studio.
Yeah, he's actually a very phenomenal artist, man. I'll tell you that for a fact, man. He is most definitely a very talented individual. And also, I noticed about 4 days ago, he actually dropped his brand new music video titled Totally Insane, which is actually featuring you guys, man. What was it like actually taking part in that music video? Because I gotta say, the graphics in that music video is absolutely phenomenal, man. I love the mural that was behind you guys.
Right. Yeah. That was good. That was a good experience, man. We got together, man, and hit a few spots down here in Flint, man, and it's worked the magic. You know what I'm saying? Low 14 films and 6 in Knoxford. Then we did directing, and it was a good experience, man. Doing that with him, man. Good song too.
Yeah, that's my brother. Big God, man. Big shout out to him, man. He always, he's been holding down for a long time. I remember mad love to him. You know what I'm saying? Doing, in the video, it was nothing. He called on me, like, hey, man, I'm going to do the video, but blah, we there, and we got it done. It came out real nice. I like it.
And one last question before I move off the topic of Gaza. He's also dropping his new record, Black Vinyl, here within a month or so. Are you guys featured in his brand new record as well? I know you guys probably can't talk about too much because it's his unreleased record, but are you guys going to be taking part in that release as well?
I think I think there's gonna be one on there with us on it. And we have to see how he ain't told us who was all alone gonna be on there. We don't know whatever, so we just have to wait and see what But I think we're gonna have one on there. We done recorded something with it.
And also in 2019, you guys were also featured in Murder Dog magazine. I have to ask you, what was that experience like for you guys? Because this day and age, there's really not a lot of magazines really out there.
Murder Dog, man. Truthfully, Murder Dog. I mean, there's a lot of magazines that in and out, years and years. But Murder Dog, man, is like one of the best magazines. Like, we used to love, always be in there back in the, early 2000s, man. The homeboy Dave Freeman out in Nitty used to, write about us a lot. Scott Bader, that was a good
Murder Dog. Yeah, Murder Dog was one of the best magazines that I've seen. Like, they really took it on a lot of people. Like, they gave the underground a lot of love. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we wasn't getting that mainstream love right there, yo. They got some mainstream artists in there, but they actually mixed in us underground artists also. So they showed us love, and that was Murder Dog was one of the best magazines to me.
And also, May 26th of 2019, you guys actually opened up for Brother Lin Chung. I have to ask you, what was that experience like? And of course, did you guys get the opportunity to chop it up and hang with Brother Lynch after the show?
Was that 19 or 18?
Yeah, it was 19 out there. There was the day Born Dead 3 dropped, out there in Utah.
Oh, yeah, sure did. But we didn't actually get the coffin, get the ticket, cause, we got there, we was out, trying to get these merch tables set up, trying to get the business together. And, they hung out a little bit, I guess at the hotel, longer than, till they got to perform. So we didn't get to come across them, have really a conversation like we wanted to. So, I've been listening to Brother Lynch since the 80s. Brother Lynch came out around 88, 89, something like that. When I first heard him, his first album, and it was like, I'm a big fan of Brother Lynch. He goes in, and also Esham was on the video too. So Esham, Brother Lynch, and Project One, so it's like, that was a three-headed monster. But we had a great time. It turned out pretty good. I think selling it out too.
And also, the next question I have is actually for Paint, but unfortunately, he can't be with us tonight. So I was wondering if you guys can answer this one, and just for him, on June 17th, he actually released his project, Muggin' Me Mean. I have to ask you, where can our listeners actually snag a copy of your guys' record?
Actually, that's just a single that he released or whatever. That's all. It's on all digital outlets or whatever. It's not a full project.
Okay, most definitely. I just wanted to bring that up because I noticed I've seen it as well. But everybody that is listening, make sure you snag yourselves a copy of that single. Support the real and support 1/3 of Project Born.
Yes, sir.
And also, what you guys are here for is to promote your newest record. October 30th, you actually released the digital copies of your album BD4. I have to ask you, what's the inspiration and story behind that amazing album? And of course, where can our listeners actually buy or stream themselves a copy?
It's actually it's a 6-song EP or whatever. It's just the fourth part of the Born Dead series, or whatever. And it's just 6 hard-hitting tracks, man. And we decided we was going to do a full album, but we decided, we just going to cut it down to an EP. And, when you hear it, it's just hard-hitting from beginning to end. And, you can listen to it on all digital outlets, and then they can buy physical copies from us at therealprojectborn.com.
Yep. And, anybody who knows how we lace out the Born Dead albums, they know that the quality of the Born Dead albums is all high. Like, from the whole set, from 1 all the way to 4, they all came out really, really good. So, I was excited, about, the 4. This is the last one of the set. We was doing everything in 4, so it's like, this Born Dead 4 is the last one of the Born Dead 6. So now we just gotta let it simmer out and let everybody start to collect them all and all that. So, but it was good. Born Dead 4 is a really good album, really good.
And we work with homeboy Lindo Beats did 5 of the tracks, and my homeboy Real for Real, he did 1. And mixed by Rose Joker. We recorded it at Gaza Studio, so
Yeah.
And also, directly after this interview, I'm actually going to be spinning one of the tracks off that EP titled "Who Am I to Judge?" I have to ask you guys, can you tell our listeners the story behind that amazing track? That way, when I do spin it for them, they can wrap their head around the meaning just a little bit more.
Originally, I was thinking the idea, it just came to my mind from a point of how everybody's so judgmental about everybody else, and they can't look in the mirror like, who am I? I mean, like, out of all my issues, how in the hell am I to judge the next person? So it's like, who am I to judge? Like, that's how it kind of is. Like, just like the title, who am I to judge? I'm not perfect, so I'm not the person to be judging nobody or us as a people. Period. We shouldn't be judging, each other is quite how we do. So that's kind of how, that was the theory of the song when we put it together, and then we got our brother Bootleg from the Dayton family featured on there. So, dope track.
And also, I gotta ask you guys this. Is there anything I happen to miss during this interview? Anything else you guys still want to promote? Will we still have you here live on Canada's #1 uncensored award-winning radio station?
Oh, yeah. First, we want to thank you, man, for having us on here, man. We appreciate it, taking your time out doing this interview.
Hey, man, you are most certainly welcome, man. Like I said, I've been a fan of you guys for a long time, so the fact that I have to interview 2 out of the 3 members, I gotta say, man, it was an absolute honor. But before we do let you guys go, man, this is the time in the interview that I give a chance for the individuals that come on the radio station. Just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to, but also your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated everything Project Born if they're not already doing so.
All right. Okay, first of all, anybody that's listening, so they can keep up with us at therealprojectborn.com, facebook.com/projectborn, Instagram, The Real Project Born, Twitter, Real Project Born, and just keep up with us, man. We got some things, some new projects we're going to get to working on. So go check it out, BD4 out, BD3, Born Dead 2, Born Dead, everything that we got.
A lot of merchandise.
And we got merchandise on the store. Yep.
And, then I want to shoot some shout out to everybody who has helped, us through our career, through our life. Big shout out to all the people that helped make this happen. People that make these beats together. Lindo, Raphael, Big Gaza, Roasted Joker. You know what I'm saying? Homeboy Big Wheel. Yep, all projects, all my homies from the projects, really project departments. Everybody, they know where they are. So many of them, name y'all. My homies out in Utah, they always show us love out there. Global Family, Man Arcade, and Jacob, Alex, all the fans that couldn't get out here this year for Hollow Wicked, maybe next year, all the people out there.
Shout out Flint, man. Flint got a lot of talent, man, so just keep your ear out for Flint, man, because there's a lot of guys out here with all talent, man, that's putting in some work, man, so I think Flint is up next, man. So,
yeah. Shout out my own Bootleg for getting on the record, jumping on the record, big shout out to Dave family,
Shout out to boy Plank and Paul.
Plank, Plank, and everybody else, this is the whole world right now, we just, everybody who helped make everything happen, all the juggalos, everybody who helped make our career from that point to this point, we want to do a mad shout out to them, we still got some big things in the works. We still got some more releases to drop. We ain't done yet. Just a big shout out to everybody.
And we be coming out to Canada, man. Hopefully, when everything get back a little bit, get back to normal, when everybody we can cross that border, man. We need to come out there and kick it with y'all, man. Have some fun.
Hey, man, most definitely, I agree with that. There's some pretty good. There's some venues out here in Canada, man, that really do love, Project Born and ICP type music, man. So you come over, we most definitely got some love for your genre of music for sure.
All right, sure. I'm a DM you too, man. I have to get you something out there, man. You know what I'm saying? A shirt and something, man, so you can rock out there, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. But Nitty, Polk, I gotta say, man, thank you guys for taking the time out of your busy evening and coming on my radio station. Like I said, it was an absolute honor, most definitely a privilege. I've been a fan for a long time. So if you keep making them records, guys, I'm going to keep spinning it here on Outlaw Radio, guys. But thank you so much. Most definitely stay safe out there. And if you guys need anything, radio promotional services of any sort, hit me up. I got you.
Thank you,
All right,
man.
man. We appreciate it, man.
Take care, man.
You're most certainly welcome, guys. Have yourself a wonderful night.
You too.
Yeah. You too.